There shall arise in his place one who imposes taxes on the exalted kingdom. So that's one who started charging tribute from the Israelites. There shall arise in his place one who imposes taxes on the exalted kingdom, but within a few days he shall be destroyed, but not in anger or in battle. One can read this in the book of the Maccabees. There are 4 books of the Maccabees. The first 2 are the main ones, but one can read most, if not all, that is being mentioned here, there. So, and in his place shall arise a vile person. So in verse 20, that was Seleucus IV, Philopater, who raised a tribute for Rome. So they charged Israelites. Then emerged Antiochus IV, who is pretty much from this chapter, and I don't know how to put it, but he's one of the main representations of the beast, Antiochus IV Epiphanes, whose name pretty much means the manifestation of the Almighty. So he represents the beast completely. And since he is an entire representation of the beast, we pretty much can start reading from now on each verse as something that it will be fulfilled with the beast. That is why I said that some see the previous chapter as Hitler, being like extending the prophecy a lot all toward time. So it says, there shall arise in his place one who imposes taxes. We already saw that one. Then, and in his place shall arise a vile person, to whom they will not give the honor of royalty. That's Antiochus IV Epiphanes, the main representation of the beast. So this verse, to whom they will not give the honor of royalty, many use this verse regarding the beast as saying that he won't be called a king, at least not by old, because he would come as a politician. So the title that he would receive would be different than king, as because of the days in which we live. However, when the Jewish people see that person as Mashiach, they will call him king. But that would be some. So it says, but he shall come in peaceably. So the beast will start the same way, but well, in like I have explained, the second seal, he will be given power to destroy, but he will be, by the authority that he will receive will be given to him because of the fact that he will appear as if he stopped the war. So that's the connection with him coming peaceably. And also, let's say we want to connect it with what I mentioned regarding, for instance, Kushner. He seems very peaceful right now. Like other leaders, they claim that they want peace and security, and they are claiming a lot of peace and security nowadays. So the fact that they claim peace and security, that is coming in peace, yet then the true colors will show during the second seal and later on even more. So I find also interesting, now since I mentioned that in the Abraham Accord, according to some who have read the whole thing, the actual accord, the actual pact or covenant is to sell a lot of weapons. So there's a lot of weapons being sold in that accord, which makes no sense if it's supposed to be about peace. But as we know, Yahushua said, my peace I give you, not like the world gives it. Let not your heart be fearful. So the world gives peace through fear, through war, which makes no sense. So it says, but he shall come peaceably and seize the kingdom by intrigue, So the beast will be able to seize the kingdom through intrigue, not through actual, well, like they used to conquer and destroy and take over. He's gonna take over, but through intrigue. That's why he's connected with the fact that he's not given the honor of royalty, because of the way he comes about to get that power. So he will seize the kingdom by intrigue. With the force of a flood, they shall be swept away from before him and be broken, and also the prince of the covenant. This is very important because, like I said, this was already fulfilled, and we can see it in the book of Maccabees. But in the book of Maccabees, Antiochus, as we're going to see also in this chapter, perhaps, he sacrificed the abomination of desolation in the temple, which was a pig for Zeus, his god. So nowadays, Zeus is worshipped as God, or Dios, which Dios comes from Zeus. So they worship Zeus through other names nowadays. The beast will appear and will appear to honor Zeus. Will appear to honor the Almighty, yet he will be honoring Zeus. That's why they will use fire from heaven to kill the two witnesses. That will be Zeus whom they will be using, even though it's not Zeus who will bring the lightning down. They will make it appear so through technology that they will use to kill the two witnesses. In the book of Maccabees, we can see all of this being fulfilled, and we can see specific persons that fulfill these roles. But like I said, Antiochus Epiphanes IV is the main representation of the beast, other than Nimrod, which I always say is the main because he's the first. But when it comes to Antiochus IV, the whole story of the Maccabees is very amazing. And Yahushua himself, when he told in Matthew 24 what would happen, he said, when you see the abomination of desolation, go to the mountains. To them, the abomination of desolation had already happened 150 years back in the time of the Maccabees. So Yahushua said, when you see the abomination of desolation spoken of by the prophet Daniel, they could have asked Yahushua, but that already fulfilled. What are you talking about? Yahushua was pretty much saying that that which fulfilled in the time of the Maccabees was actually just a mirror, a shadow of what would fulfill in the end times. So that is why we can read these verses mainly from the time that Antiochus IV appears. Before that is pretty much what has been happening in the last decades. But from the time of Antiochus Epiphanes is pretty much the time when the beast starts to enter into the scene. So it says, with the force of a flood they shall be swept away from before him and be broken. So it shows, this means how he entered and destroyed everything pretty much back in the day. The fact that they did not give the honor of royalty is because Antiochus IV was not the actual rightful heir, which is important because the beast is trying to take over the world as the world leader. However, he is not the actual world king. That is Mashiach. So he will be trying to take the actual power over the world, which belongs to Yahweh, and he gives to his Mashiach. So the beast, that's why he doesn't receive that, because he's not the actual heir. Antiochus Epiphanes, he defeated the Egyptians. That was verse 22. If we go to Revelation 12, we read something regarding the beast and the actual army of the beast. Verse 15. So the serpent, which is Satan when he falls down to the earth as the false Messiah, presented to the earth by the beast. So the serpent spewed water out of his mouth like a flood after the woman. So we are reading in Daniel, and he's using the same terms, the flood. And we just saw how there was a daughter that was being used to come to a covenant and all of that. So we see here, so the serpent spewed water out of his mouth like a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away by the flood. So the beast will use its army to try and kill the congregation of the Almighty, to take away the real heirs to the kingdom, because Yahushua made us kings and priests, just like Herod tried to kill all the children from 2 years down in Bethlehem, trying to kill Mashiach, trying to kill the competition according to his mind. So it says, so the serpent spewed water out of his mouth like a flood after the woman, that he might cause her to be carried away by the flood. But the earth helped the woman. The earth are the many. And the earth opened its mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon had spewed out of his mouth. So Yahweh will miraculously save the congregation of the chosen few. The many will have to die at that moment, since the beast will not find the true chosen few, will go after its descendants, as it is written in this same chapter. And the dragon was enraged with the woman, and he went to make war with the rest of her offspring. Keep the commandments of Yahweh and have the testimony of Yahushua HaMashiach. So, going back to Daniel 11, it says, with the force of a flood they shall be swept away, the many, from before him, and be broken, and also the prince of the covenant. This is huge, because that means that the beast will kill the one who comes to confirm the covenant of Daniel 9, which we already spoke about a while back. The beast will kill the prince of the covenant. The one that Yahweh sends to get the kingdom is killed by the beast, who is not the real heir to the throne. So he will kill the prince of the covenant so that he can remain with power. And then it says, and after the league is made with him, he shall act deceitfully. So pretty much saying, since he killed the prince of the covenant, now the league is made with him. And also meaning those who, by seeing the death of the prince of the covenant and the death of the many, they will decide to come to the side of the beast. So, and after the league is made with him, he shall act deceitfully, for he shall come up and become strong with a small number of people. This is very important. And just so you guys know, just in case you're wondering, normally in Christianity they just use one verse, take it out of context, and make a whole doctrine. So they use these verses when it comes to the Antichrist and the beast and all of that. They do use these verses, and not just me, but they take them out of the context. So it's very different when we see them in the whole context of the entire book, as we have been doing through these studies. Why I say that? Because in Daniel 9 they say that the beast is the one who makes a covenant. It says he will confirm a covenant with the many. He will confirm a covenant with the many. That's what Daniel 9 says. And they use that to say that that is the beast making the covenant, who some people believe is the actual Abraham covenant that they just made. So now it says, after the league is made with him, he shall act deceitfully, for he shall come up and become strong with a small number of people. So how is it that, according to their doctrine, he makes a covenant with the many, yet he becomes strong with a small number of people? That doesn't make sense. Either he is with many or with a small number. So that's just to say how the interpretation in Christianity is actually wrong, and they are taking verses out of context. Because, like I said, the prince who makes the covenant is the second coming, the second manifestation of Yahweh on earth, who is killed by the beast, as we just saw here. And also the prince of the covenant will be killed. And then it says, and after the league is made with him, he shall act deceitfully, for he shall come up and become strong with a small number of people.